All right, everybody, welcome to the Bohorror Tales podcast. Now, if you've seen episode 1, you knew that it was about the Salem witch trials, and episode 2 is now going to be about demons, ghosts, and spirits. All right, so today, for my co-hosts, I have Mads.
Hi.
And KELIN.
Yo.
Okay, so basically, as I just said, we're going to be talking about demons, spirits, ghosts, everything in between with that kind of thing. So I'm going to warn you now, I don't have too much history on demons, as I'm not super religious or anything like that. We do have a Bohorror member that is pretty religious, and he knows a lot about that, but not many people like him, so he's not on here. And so let me begin with this. So I'm mainly going to be talking about the Christianity one, because that's what I'm most familiar with.
Right.
So, I mean, I'm sure you're all aware that Garden of Eden, a snake crawled in and was like, hey, y'all want to be evil? That's the basic story. Basically, Adam and Eve or whatever and all the people, they were in the Garden of Eden, and God had created this like perfect world that was kind of like in between earth and heaven. So like the creatures of heaven and earth could collide, like you'd see a flying elephant be like, hey, and basically you could like see the angels and stuff, blah, blah, blah. It's not just regular earth. It's like a mixed in-between world pretty much. And basically this quote unquote fallen angel, this one of God's I don't know, people in like his little like gang or whatever. I mean, I don't want to call it a gang, but his close friend group pretty much, or servants, I don't know. He basically envied God's power, and he wanted to be a god-like figure. He wanted his power, but he wanted his own morals to be what is taught. So he basically wanted to be God, but teach and enforce different rules and stuff. So basically, he went down to the Garden of Eden and saw Adam and Eve, and basically tempted them with this idea. And basically they fell for it. And then all of them were kicked out of the Garden of Eden and heaven and all that stuff. So that's how he got the name the fallen angel, I believe. So Adam and Eve were like given just to earth. And basically the demons, including Lucifer, basically kind of spread evil throughout the humans' land and stuff. So that's where like death came from, and abuse and all these horrible things that humans do and what's on earth was basically caused by evil spirits behind the scenes. Now eventually more and more religious spirits or whatever that were like good with God betrayed him and then fell down to this rebellion that was happening in hell. I believe there's 4 kings of hell. I don't know their names. But basically, yeah. And you know, the demons partial of them do get a bad reputation, because I know that there's actually some good ones out there. And the name demon, as soon as you hear it, you're like, okay, well, that's a negative thing.
I have a what you're talking about with how demons were very, like, if you hear that, like you just said, if you hear the word demons, you're like, oh my god. And that partially was because, that was partially because of all of the folklore and the media and the comics and the video games and the TVs and the TV shows and the movies. And
I have a comment too, though, because like Matt said, it's similar to the fact how when people hear the word, they automatically think that's what it is, because we're so used to seeing it in the media of like,
exactly,
it's bad, it's this, it's that, it's not, it's not okay, it's wrong. So when we see it, or like when we hear it, like we're so used to it being evil
bad,
or deemed bad, right?
Yeah, some people say for sure that the fallen angel, specifically Lucifer, everyone is like, oh my god, oh Lucifer, Satan. Like, there's a lot of stories actually saying Lucifer was not what he's really pinned as being in media.
Obviously he's like not like the best person, but they definitely make him out a little bit bad. I feel like he probably just he was envious of God's power, and so he wanted something like that. And when you have temptation, that is going to lead into something if it's not taken care of. So obviously media and stuff, horror movies, they want to make you feel scared. So they are going to make the thing scary, whatever it may be. They could make a damn thing about a clown and make him scary. I mean, just look at it. Other than what is it, John Wayne Gacy, there wasn't like any like crazy like evil clowns before that, or at least not to my knowledge. So and now it's kind of like a popular thing that people are afraid of clowns. You can really twist any idea into a horror theme if you have the right assets. So,
Right.
Influencing people is going to change their thoughts. And same thing with demons. So that's a little bit of the history. Like I said, I don't know too much. Hopefully I didn't offend anybody with that. It was, like I said, not too educated with that. But now we're going to dive into spirits and ghosts and all the different sorts that kind of fit into that category. So, Mads, I have a question for you. I mean, I don't know if you'll be able to answer it, but what is the difference between a spirit and a ghost?
Okay, so this is my personal opinion. Mm-hmm. I feel like a spirit this is just based on I'm not reading any definitions. This is just the first thing I think of when I hear the two. So a ghost, I always think of Ghostbusters. I always think of like these fantasized, kind of like made up, like funny ghosts, like a cool little like Halloween horror,
like cinematic.
Yes. When I hear spirit, I usually think of like a dead relative that you may, feel in like a presence, like a spiritual presence. That's why it says spirit in the name. That's exactly what I think of between the two.
KELIN, what about your opinion on this? What do you think? Do you agree with her? Do you have something else to add?
I mean, somewhat I do agree with her, but I have to add something at the same time.
Okay.
From my personal experience, I would say that the difference between the two is like, okay, ghost. From my personal experience, I feel like a ghost is like a trapped spirit, something that's like hasn't died naturally, just went through something that's not yet finished.
A tragic event.
A tragic event. Basically. Like somebody got murdered, and like the ghost was in that house, and then it haunts that house because that's all it knows. Like, it knows that it was killed there, so it just stays there. A spirit is more so like as if the relative, like how Matt said, your relative died, and their spirit sometimes you can see like the spirit in your dream, like they can come visit you every once in a while, and then they'll come visit you. But it's pretty much the same thing, but it's just like one has more depth to it. So
So my personal opinion on the matter, what is the difference between a ghost and a spirit? And to be honest, I don't fucking know. To my knowledge, I think ghost is literally just another word for spirit, but people are always like, ghosts aren't real, spirits are real though. So I guess Hollywood and them have just kind of fantasized it to be something different, but I'm pretty sure it's relatively the same thing. But I mean, I could be horribly wrong, and both of you are right. So who knows? But now that we've kind of established this, what is the difference between a spirit and a demon?
Okay, so I will take this part. I will just say what I need to say. So specifically when I hear and when everyone else probably hears the words, like I said before, a spirit, if you're thinking of like a dead relative or maybe somebody and you like feel their presence and things, demons are usually associated with evil beings, or like their only purpose in the afterlife is to do harm or to have negative, feelings towards a thing in the real world or something like that. That's just what I personally first think of when I hear the two.
What about you, KELIN? What do you think?
Okay. Basically, similar to like I said what Matt said, but it could also be different. Like, we already got to the topic of where we say a spirit is basically like a relative or something like that, or something that can manifest if it wants to be shown. Now a demon, we can say that the demon could do the same thing. Really, they can do the same thing, but it's not common for them to do the same thing. Now we've all known in history that people make contracts with demons, and it's common. Like, it's so common to where it's like people don't even believe it sometimes, but it's like, it's true. People do actually make contracts with demons just to
it's a deal. Boom.
Personal gain, right? You saying it's a deal.
But it's like, okay. To add on that, I think people don't realize just how common summoning demons really is.
It's so weird because it's
a lot of people do it, and a lot of people it's not always for bad intention. Like I said earlier, they usually get a bad reputation. So like there's also one called like a succubus, and basically
that's like a sex demon, basically.
It's basically like a lust version of a demon. So so basically the demon's kind of purpose, my difference is that the demons want to spread this idea of the 7 deadly sins. They want to influence you to gluttonize food. They want you to be lazy. They want you to have corporate greed, to commit lustful acts, to be so angry that you blow up on someone and that person causes more harm to someone else. All these negative things in the world, the demons kind of try to cause that, or they try to oppose it. So like in a negative way. So like if someone had hurt you, and you want revenge, just summon a demon and be like, hey demon, you're protecting me, but can you go kill this person with like a car? So I think that they take a lot of chances they could get to do harm because, I mean, I don't know, maybe it's fun or something, but but that's my opinion on it. So, Mads, do you have any personal experiences with encountering a demon or a spirit or a ghost or anything like that?
Well, me being, practicer witchcraft, like I said in the previous episode, when I was first starting my journey into that thing, and my dumbass decided to jump into Ouija board playing with, and, things like that. Like, I don't know why I thought of that. But anyways, just like playing around, I was doing it with a few friends. And
okay, to begin, is this story scary?
This story, I would say that it's a little scary. Does it have
plot lines?
Yeah.
Okay, I would say. So let's turn off the lights in our mind and just listen to Matt as she explains the story. Make it very cinematic for us.
Yes. Okay. So it was actually raining outside, and it was really dark out.
I hate it already.
It was literally, it was literally like a movie. It was my cousin and my stepsister, and we had this Ouija board. And what we did was we got a candle out. We shut the lights off in the room, and we were so stupid. We did it in our room, like really. But Derek, shut the hell up. But okay, I'm trying to make this spooky. Listen, okay, so we start. It's really dangerous to use a Ouija board alone, especially because if you don't have a very good manifestation or a clear mind, it could really mess things up.
Right.
And so we just, start messing around, seeing if there's anything, going on, calling out. Well, this is the number one thing you should avoid whenever using a Ouija board, is never ask for them to show a sign that they're there, because that gives them permission into the real world and gives them permission to mess with you. So we gave them permission multiple times, and we were like, give us a sign of your presence and say things, or do this.
Wait, Mads, to interrupt real quick. You look at the background on the screen. Look at the tree next to Mads' head on the left.
Messy.
That shit is floating. I was gonna say I hope no one notices that, but we just called it out. So
I actually noticed it, but I wasn't gonna say nothing.
Yeah, I noticed it last time. I guess it was just because KRIS's big ass head was in the way last time, and I never fixed it. So, okay, well, I mean, just nobody comments on the trees, and we'll be fine. All right, go ahead.
Let me finish this spooky story. Okay.
Okay, so, go ahead.
So we just start calling out to them, and like suddenly the poncho started moving on the thing, and we had all our fingers there.
You mean the planchette?
Yeah, whatever it is, poncho.
No,
the girl said poncho, like the poncho.
Shut up. I'm trying to make it scary. Shh. You should let it slide. Okay, so it starts moving. We all have 2 fingers on there, just from right hand, I think it is. And it starts moving, and we're like, "What's your name?" Like asking for it and stuff. And this was before I had read anything about the Zozo thing. And no, I'm not saying I encountered like Zozo, but I'm saying that it was just a really scary feeling, because for people who haven't used a Ouija board and they're like, oh, it's fake, I promise you, none of us were moving our hands or doing anything like that. And it just is a really out of body experience, because
very surreal.
Yes. And I don't remember, I think it was starts with a T. And I felt like it could read our minds in a
Tyrone.
way. No. And it felt like it could read our minds, because I was with my stepsister, who's a street girl. This was when we started messing around. She's a street girl. And me and my cousin are both, a little fae. And
what?
We were like, no, you'll get it in a second. What I'm talking about, reading our minds and stuff. So we said, I'm not going to say their names, but is my cousin gay? And it would move to yes. And then I said, am I gay? And it would move to yes. And then it said, is my stepsister gay? And it said no. And it
Context
was
a
really,
demon, ask the sexualities.
no, it was because we were 12 or like 11 or maybe 10, I don't remember. But we were young and we were like, whatever. And I didn't really believe it that much.
So
is
the scary part of the story that the demon just outed all of you?
Yes.
No!
Yes. And but then after that, I decided to talk to it alone. After they had left, my cousin left and my stepsister left. And I told him, show me a sign of your presence alone. And because I felt like I could trust it because I hadn't researched. And you know how you guys have like a back porch with like a screen and then there's like the door, the screen door.
It slammed open.
It was open and it slammed shut. And I was like, what? I said, I turned around and I looked over there and I said, was that you? And they said, yes. And my thing is,
taking credit for the wind or something.
No!
No, but here's the creepiest part. I said, where are you right now? And it spelt out couch because I was doing it in the living room with the lights on.
That's scary. No, I couldn't do it.
And I turned around and I kind of like, I said, you should come sit by me.
Girl!
And it sat by me and I felt this really
like
coldness.
You felt the weight
yes,
of it.
On my left side, I felt it sitting there. I said, are you on the right or the left? And it spelt out left. And I felt it. And then I said, because I felt it leave. And I said, where are you now? And he said, I'm right in front of you.
Well.
And I said, are you sitting or standing? I said, sitting. And so technically right across from me, I was looking at this spirit. And it felt like, no, it was, I'm not even making any of this up. It was really weird. And I probably shouldn't have done it alone because it started, moving, moving things. You're not supposed
to do it alone.
Mm-hmm. And so this is when I started getting a little sketchy because after a while, I looked it up and it said, if you feel like time is going by really fast and you're talking to it, it felt like I had talked to this guy for 15 minutes and it had been 3 hours.
Wow.
I had talked to him for 3 hours. No, it wasn't even that I was bored. It was just because I don't know what happened. So then I started researching more and I found out about all this weird stuff and why you probably shouldn't do it alone. And I got really creeped out and I didn't use it ever again. And so it was kind of weird because it felt like you could feel, and it wasn't even like exaggerating or like a wind. Oh, suddenly I feel a wind by me. No, it was like, cold. It was weight and it was like pulling towards me. And I felt it specifically on my left side and then I felt it in front of me. And I remember, I think one time I forgot to say bye and I got really scared. And in the middle of the night, because I was researching in the middle of the night, I got up and I said goodbye and it moved to goodbye. So it was still there.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to like, ew. And
you should
really
have done
creepy.
it yourself.
Listen. Let me just wrap it up and say that I don't agree with Ouija boards and I don't agree with using them alone and I don't agree with using them as a joke. And I only agree that if you have a really good intuition and like manifestation towards the board and the board only, I don't think that anyone, like a kid, or you should buy it from a Halloween store because I bought mine from a Halloween store during Halloween time. It's not good for you and it's not fun. So that's why I do believe that there are hurtful spirits and I do believe that there's a difference between
did y'all hear that?
And demons.
I think I heard a demon cat.
The cat.
Oh God.
Sorry, my cat.
Meds, you better go check.
No, she's fine. I
Girl, she's dying, it sounds like.
No.
Here, I will I'm gonna pause it really fast, okay?
Right.
Okay, anyways.
Okay, that was a little bit of a delay there. Don't worry about it. Nothing happened. Just pretend like you had a seizure, and and you're back. You're back. Okay?
But anyways,
so KELIN,
let me just say one more thing. So that's my little story that I wanted to tell. That's probably the closest I ever got to interacting with that type of stuff. And doing like witchcraft and stuff like that, we don't really deal with demons. So that's probably a misconception with a lot of people, is that demons aren't like in the agenda for any witches, unless you're like
maybe a little bit,
unless you're like freaking crazy. But like most witches in the modern era mostly stick with what they're doing.
Okay, so listen, I have a question for both of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, ask the
Okay,
question.
so listen. We've got about 6 minutes on the clock here. After we're done with this 6 minutes, how would you guys feel if we did a part 2?
I'm down.
I'm down.
Because it's like
Because
I like
I
talking
feel like
about
6
So
minutes are not enough to really get on this topic, if you know what I mean.
Right.
So,
it's a big pill to swallow.
yeah. So
with,
we'll upload this one when we're done, and then pretty much about 30 minutes to an hour after, we'll upload the second one. How does that sound?
Right.
Perfecto.
Okay. So we got about 5 minutes. KELIN, do you think that you can really get your story in about 5 minutes, or should I just kind of conclude this episode for now?
Yeah, I can get it in about 5 minutes.
All right. So go ahead. Tell us your experience with the demons, with the
Okay,
spirits.
well, I wouldn't say a demon, but I guess you could say ghost. You could say that. Okay, growing up, me and my sister, like, we were really close. Like, me and my sister did everything together, and we experienced stuff together too. Because growing up, and Korea. See, like, most of the houses that we lived in had like either spirits or like some kind of figure inside of the house. But there's one particular time where technically it's my story and it's my sister's story. Okay, so we lived in this house, and this house name was Greenbark. Derek, oh my God. The house was called Greenbark.
Shut up.
Well, it was on the street on Greenbark. And basically, this house, when we first got it, when we first moved there, it was crazy. Like, it was a good house. Like,
wait. What state is this? Is it Arkansas or Tennessee?
This is in Tennessee. Basically right now. So, the feel of the house, like when we first got, it's always like when you get in the house, you never sense anything until further on when you live there. So us being in the house for a while, we never felt anything, but recently, like, started to get towards the end, like that's when we started to feel things. And there's a couple of stories that I can, put into the gas of it. But I remember this one in particular time where I was on the couch. And I was like I had to be around 6 or 7, 8, one or the other, 6 or 7. But I was on the couch, and I remember sitting down watching the TV.
Mm-hmm.
And out of the corner of my eye, a tall, dark, black shadow, like basically it looked like death.
It was O.J. Simpson.
Walked out of the bathroom straight across the back, because my bathroom, like in the time, my house, like my room was directly in front of the bathroom. Both doors were open, and I saw the shadow come out the bathroom and go into my room.
Girl, he used the toilet.
So I remember telling my parents that I was like, I just seen something go inside my room, and like I was telling them like what it looked like, and I was describing it like it basically looked like death. It was tall, like it was. I guess I can say that I wouldn't say that I saw the pickaxe thing, but I can't.
The
just
pickaxe
say that
girl, the scythe.
But it was more so like the scythe. It was more so like the figureness. Like, man, think it's like something that would say death, like the figure of him.
Yeah.
That's what it was like. Like, I saw it at the corner of my eye.
The figure. Like a silhouette?
Yeah, it just had, the silhouette, basically.
Okay.
And it was just so weird. Like, when I told them, it was like they wouldn't believe me. And then other times, like, we had a situation where my sister, now she is more scared than I would be, because I figured, like, after all these years of me being scared and being put down by other people, I just said, you know what, at this point, anything is, possible. So I've even experienced and felt like ghosts around me. I will see ghosts around me. I will see them walking. Like, sometimes I will see them walking. I will feel the presence of them. Like, I can be downstairs. Like, my mom and my sister, like, all three of us feel the presence. Like, somebody can even be in the house with us, and we will feel the presence of somebody's in the house with us. Like, my mom, she is more so like this. She will be sitting there and will feel me from upstairs coming out of my room. Like, she won't even hear my door open. And she'll automatically know that I'm on the step. And I'll be on the step. But it's like this psychic, like, I guess it's kind of like a psychic feature. But another story, if I can hear it versus into it. Like
you got about like 3 or 4 minutes.
Okay. Like I said, my sister, she was like more scared of the ghost thing than us, because keep in mind, we found out that I guess somebody had to be murdered there. The house that we moved into was already old. So when we found out that my sister said she saw 3 ghosts, she saw a man and 2 kids. The girl was bleeding between her legs and on her body, and the boy had cuts all over his body. And she said that the man was staring at her. She visibly remembers the man staring at her.
This sounds like the Amityville thing.
Right. She visibly remembers the man staring at her, and she said she was so scared that her asthma had started to, affect it. She ran back into her room and opened her window because she was so scared and she didn't know what to do. So she had to breathe out the window the whole night. But yeah, she's basically scarred by it because like it would be like moments when she was downstairs by herself and she wouldn't even like being downstairs by herself because that fucking freaked her out. Like you see something like that at the age of fucking 9 or 10 and you know it can scar you for life if you see something too graphic.
Wait. Do you guys hear that?
What?
He eats chips from the ground. You know what?
Shut up.
But yeah, it's just like, and then there was another time where I guess the spirit had started to affect our dad. Like one time, and I know me saying this sounds fake, but I can't make this shit up. Like I even remember seeing it. Both of us remember seeing it, and everybody can explain in the house how they saw it. We were over at my grandmother's house and we came home from, well, basically over there. It was a party that they threw and everybody was over there, a family reunion. We came back home and we went into our parents' room and a bloody handprint was on the wall. Now, keep in mind, this is where it gets sketched. The bloody handprint was on the wall and the attic was open. The attic has never been open. Keep in mind, I am at the time around 4, I'm short. I couldn't even jump up to pull the string on the attic to pull it down.
Koya's only about a year or two older than you, right? She couldn't have done it either.
My sister, she's 20. She's 20, and she wasn't even that tall. She was taller than me then.
She's 20? Wait, hold on, girl. Do you have another sister I don't even know about?
No, my sister, she's 20, yeah. She's 20 now.
No, I was talking about then, girl. I was about to say, who the hell is this mysterious KELIN sister?
No, but...
yeah, so she was too short to reach it, too.
Yes, she was too short to reach it, and I was too short to reach it. And our dad that day was lashing out like, y'all did this, y'all touched it down. Yeah, and I was like, this has to be a spirit because spirits can get into people and manifest their energy into the person. And I'm feeling that the energy, the God that the ghost, well, basically my sister saw, had to be inside of him because he manifested his energy inside of him. And it was 2 kids that he killed, supposedly. And we were 2 kids.
You know what's crazy? You were 2 kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's so weird.
And it was like, it was just so freaky that night. And we were constantly telling him that,
all right, listen, KELIN, listen.
We didn't do it like Derek. We didn't even know where the blood came from.
Listen, KELIN, I want you to hold off on the story because this is the perfect cliffhanger and it's going to make these guys go watch the second episode. So listen, this has been part 1. We're going to go ahead and finish KELIN's story in part 2. So make sure you come back for that. But it has been really good seeing you in this part. Everybody say goodbye.
Peace.
Bye-bye.